What makes an emotionally intelligent woman quietly captivating? A deep and soulful reflection. 1. When silence speaks volumes, not everyone understands the power of silence. In today's noisy world, silence is often mistaken for weakness, shyness, or passivity. But for an emotionally mature woman, silence is not emptiness. It is a sacred space to observe, connect, and truly feel. She doesn't interrupt. She doesn't speak just to be heard. And yet, when she looks at someone, her gaze alone invites vulnerability, honesty, and even stillness. Her eyes do not judge. Her presence does not rush. She listens not just to words, but to what's buried between them. Her silence is not absence. It's a strong and full presence. She knows that the most important things in life are often unspoken, like the feeling of safety beside someone you don't have to explain yourself to, or the quiet trust that forms when no grand declarations are made, just calm. Consistent energy. She doesn't speak often, but when she does, it carries weight. She doesn't fill space with noise. She creates space for meaning. And in that stillness, she draws people in. Point 2. Emotional intelligence. The radiance within. There's a beauty that no makeup or designer dress can give. A beauty that glows from a soul that has faced pain, healed through it, and learned to love through the scars. That beauty is emotional intelligence. She is not flawless. She has been broken, lonely, and lost. But instead of becoming bitter, she allowed her wounds to teach her compassion. She's learned to name her emotions, not hide from them. She knows that anger is not shameful. It's a message to understand that tears are not weakness, but signs of a heart still alive, because she's navigated her own emotional chaos. She can understand the feelings of others in ways that seem almost magical. She doesn't rush to fix or analyze. She simply stays. Her empathy is her language. Her stillness is her invitation. People feel seen by her not because she flatters them, but because her quiet presence says, "I accept you exactly as you are." That's what makes her captivating. Not outer charm, but an inner world so rich and grounded that others feel safe just being near. It's 3. Self-mastery, the magnetic pull of independence. Truly captivating woman is not someone looking to be completed by another. She walks whole, not because she's never been broken, but because she's learned how to put herself back together. She doesn't depend on others to define her. Her worth is not tied to validation or attention. She has spent time alone and come to love her own company. Her peace is not negotiable. She doesn't beg to be chosen. She doesn't cling to what drains her. When a relationship becomes toxic, she lets go, not out of coldness, out of respect for her own soul. And because she's not dependent, she's able to love with purity. No chains, no fear, no control. Her love is an offering, not a request. She loves with freedom because she is free in a world of emotional dependency. A self-possessed woman stands out like a lighthouse. She doesn't chase, but somehow everyone wants to stay. Point for a presence that soothes. It's not pressure. Some people exhaust you just by being near. Feel the need to perform, to please, to hide your flaws. But then there are women like her. With her, you can simply exhale. You don't need to explain. You don't need to be strong. You don't need to wear a mask. Her presence is not demanding. It is healing. She doesn't say, "I'm here for you." You feel that she is. There is no judgment, no pressure to be better, no expectation to be anyone else. Just calm, welcoming space. Her magic lies in how she makes you feel about yourself. You feel worthy. You feel understood. You feel safe. And that kind of space is unforgettable. 5. The power of a woman who loves herself completely. You can't be loved well until you love yourself well. She learned this not from books, but from the breaking and rebuilding of her own heart. She once tried to earn love through effort, by being better, quieter, sweeter, but eventually she learned love that must be earned isn't love. True. Love comes when you stop hiding parts of yourself now. She embraces every inch of who she is, light and shadow, She speaks gently to herself. She respects her boundaries. She doesn't apologize for taking up space. She doesn't need to be told she's worthy. She knows it. And because she doesn't need love to feel whole, the love she offers is rare, pure, peaceful. That kind of love can't be manufactured. And that kind of woman, one who doesn't need to be rescued, is unforgettable. 6. Not by speaking loudly, by evoking silence in others, in a world where everyone wants to speak. She's mastered the art of making others want to listen. She doesn't interrupt, doesn't compete. She's not the loudest voice, she's the most thoughtful. Every word she speaks comes from observation, reflection, and emotional depth. She doesn't talk to impress, okay? She speaks when it matters. But her real power isn't in what she says, it's in how she makes others want to become better, okay? Simply by being around her. She stirs something in people, not noise, but a longing for stillness. Not performance, but truth. She makes people want to pause to hear her. And maybe even to finally hear themselves. 7. She doesn't wait to be chosen. She knows her power to choose. She once waited. Waited to be noticed, to be picked, to be loved back. But pain became her teacher, and solitude became her healer. She no longer needs to be chosen, because she has chosen herself. She doesn't stay where she isn't seen. She doesn't beg for love or attention. She doesn't perform to be kept. Instead, she chooses. She chooses where to give her heart. She chooses who gets access to her softness. She chooses what brings peace and what must go. Her love is not earned. It is offered, but only to those who are ready. And when love fails to honor her, she leaves, not in bitterness, but in grace. There is power in that kind of quiet decision. Power in the way she walks away, not to prove anything, but to protect everything sacred within her. 8. Conclusion. Becoming a quietly captivating woman, a journey. Within, she doesn't need to step into a room and demand attention. She doesn't need to speak loudly, smile the widest, or shine the brightest. 'Cause her presence, though quiet, makes people stop and turn. Why is that? 'Cause she is the embodiment of calm in a chaotic world. She's the quiet voice in a sea of noise. She is a heart that loves without clinging, gives without asking, and walks without chasing. Her magnetism doesn't come from trying to impress. It comes from the quiet power of being exactly who she is. Genuine, soft, and steady. To become a quietly captivating woman is not a destination. It is a journey. A journey of learning. To love yourself fully, of listening deeply before reacting, of keeping your gentleness intact even after you've been broken, and of walking through life not to be chosen, but to choose. If you are that kind of woman, or on the way to becoming her, please know that your presence matters. Keep tending to the depth within you. The world needs more women like you, not loud, but strong enough to quiet the storms in others. If something in these words speaks to your soul, if you feel seen in these quiet truths, then the full video on the Awaken Mindset channel was made for you. In that video, we go deeper through stories, real emotions, and raw honesty about the path of becoming a woman with emotional depth, silent grace, and magnetic stillness. A woman who doesn't chase love, but becomes a space where love comes to rest. Take a few minutes to watch, not because we want your clicks, but because you might just find a version of yourself waiting to be heard and healed in. That's silence. Visit and support Awaken Mindset, a place where your heart is honored and your journey matters.